So Record Store Day is coming up, and I've got my own top picks for the albums I want to get, and I'm going to be going through those this video, as well as some of the stuff that looks good on the UK list. So definitely stick around. So in case you don't know, Record Store Day has been going on since about 2007, 2008, and it's a twice annual event. It happens once on Black Friday and once in April, which is the one coming up for us. And basically what happens is record stores, usually independent record stores, have a bunch of records from the labels that are basically either exclusives or their first release records that are released on this day at participating stores. It's a really cool event. You can get some specialty vinyl, a lot of which isn't available otherwise, except if you check Discogs and eBay later on. But you can get your first grabs on this stuff if you check out on Record Store Day at one of these participating stores. It's a great time. And it's not just in the United States. Other nations celebrate Record Store Day as well. The UK does, France, Germany, Japan, Australia, Mexico, a whole bunch of countries. So it's a worldwide thing at this point. So if you don't mind waiting in lines, particularly long lines sometimes, and also grabbing the picks you want as fast as you can, it could be a bit of a race depending on where you go. It's a pretty cool event. It's not for everyone, but I definitely dig it, and I'm really excited about this one. Definitely. Given that, these are my top picks for records I want to get on Record Store Day 2020. And just to let you know, I'm going to be looking at a laptop that's right down here, just in case you're wondering why my eyes are going there. Let's start with Entombed, Clandestine Live. 2 LP set released by Sound Pollution. This is going to be an RSD first release. And quantity is 500 released. It looks like 3 members of the original band, together with a couple other guys. They are performing from the second Entombed album, Clandestine, of course. This is the 25th anniversary of that studio album, by the way. And some good tracks on here. I see Evelyn, I see Left Hand Path at the end, which is really cool. And Sinner's Bleed, some great stuff. Chaos Breed is on here. Pretty excited to get this one, definitely. I love Clandestine. It's one of my more favorite albums from Entombed. I love Left Hand Path, of course. But definitely looking forward to this one, for sure. Next up is Goblin. You might not know much about Goblin. They're not really a metal band. They're more of a sort of Italian prog rock band. They did a lot of soundtracks for a lot of Dario Argento films in the 70s, like Suspiria and Deep Red and movies like that. Anyways, Goblin's Greatest Hits Volume 1, 1975 to 1979 is coming out. It's a 2 LP set. Quantity is 750 released. This is an RSD limited run, also a regional focus release. So your area in the US might get it or might not get it, which is kind of depressing, actually. I like it that everyone got it. Me, particularly, of course. It is a 2020 exclusive release, Record Store Day 2020. It's 180-gram LP pressed on red vinyl, and it has a gatefold jacket. Limited to 1,500 copies worldwide. So the 750 are just in the United States, obviously. And it's got Profondo Rosso, of course, or Deep Red. There's some other tracks. Zombie is on here, Suspiria is on here, and some other tracks from them as well. So nice Goblin issue, definitely. Excited to see that one out. Next up, the mighty Judas Priest with the 40th anniversary edition of British Steel. One of their classic albums, Breaking the Laws on there and Living After Midnight, Metal Gods, Rapid Fire, the list goes on. Of course, this is a 2 LP set. Quantity is 3,500 released. This is an RSD exclusive release, by the way. Great stuff. It's on 2 records, as I said. The B-side of each record looks like it's going to be an etching of sorts. The album artwork is on those B-sides. Maybe it's etched, maybe it's something else, I have no idea. The vinyl is red, white, and blue marbled vinyl, and it looks good. Judas Priest, British Steel, 40th anniversary edition. Yeah, it's been that long. Crazy. Next up is Skid Row with a reissue of their second album, Slave to the Grind. This is an expanded edition. It's a 2 LP set put out by Run Out Groove. 2,500 copies in the US, and this is also an RSD exclusive release. This is the uncensored version of the album, of course. There was a song called Get the F Out, and it was replaced by Beggar's Day for the clean version of the album. And this is on red 180-gram vinyl, released for the first time in 29 years, which sounds about right. There are bonus tracks. I think there are 4 bonus tracks, if I'm not mistaken. They don't list what they are, but if you go to Wikipedia and check the Japanese edition of Slave to the Grind, there are 4 extra tracks. So I'm wondering if those are these tracks. If so, Beggar's Day will be put back on. Holidays in the Sun, which is the Sex Pistols cover. Get the F Out, obviously. And live version of Delivering the Goods, the Judas Priest song, live in Arizona, 1992. So hopefully those are the 4 bonus tracks, but they're not saying on the Record Store Day site, so this is merely a guess. And in the various artists' album releases, Nativity in Black is being issued on vinyl. It is a 2 LP set, 2,000 copies released. This is an RSD exclusive release again. If you don't know about this, it's basically Black Sabbath cover songs by a lot of bands in the 90s. There's Typo Negative, there's Ugly Kid Joe, Megadeth, 1,000 Homo DJs, which is one of those Al Jorgensen projects, Biohazard, White Zombie. Ozzy does guest vocals on the track with Therapy. Amazing. Corrosion of Conformity is on here. Sepultura, doing Symptom of the Universe, probably one of the best Sepultura attempts at covers they've done. I love that version a great deal. Faith No More is on here. It's a great album. I have it on disc. I've had it since the 90s when it first came out, but I really want to get it on vinyl. It came out originally in 1994, incidentally. Really excited to see this one for sure. It is, again, 2,000 copies in the US and Canada, and it is exclusive to Record Store Day, as I said. So really looking forward to this one, for sure. Of course, there are also albums I wouldn't mind having, but they're just not a priority for me. But then again, if you see them in my follow-up video and you're like, hey, Matt, you didn't want those. It's like, well, not necessarily didn't want them. They just weren't first picks. But I'm going to list them anyways, just in case I end up buying them, which I probably might buy at least one. Who knows? Anyways, let's begin with Cheap Trick. They've released another live album this year. Out to Get You, live 1977, 2 LP set. Quantity is 4,700 released, and it is an RSD exclusive release. I'm on the fence about this a little bit. As you know, last Record Store Day, I picked up the other live. It was a New Year's Eve 77 live album from Cheap Trick. I liked some of the track listing. I think some of the other tracks are okay. The track listings on this one are very different. I see Southern Girls. I think Big Eyes wasn't on the other one. Southern Girls is my favorite Cheap Trick song. I was kind of looking forward to hearing that live, but that album I got last time didn't have it. So I think if I do get this album, this one plus the last one is a more complete set from that era for live material. So I might get it, I might not get it, but it is very tempting, definitely. Cheap Trick, live, 1977. Out to Get Ya. Or Out to Get My Wallet, either way. Next up is Dio. Of course, we know for the last few record stores, Dio has been putting out, or Dio's estate, obviously the guy's not with us anymore, have been putting out picture discs, pretty much one every Record Store Day for a little while now. And I've bought a couple of them, and I'm on the fence because I'm like, do I really need another Dio picture disc? Well, maybe I do, maybe I don't. So I'm kind of on the fence about this one as well. This is the Annika picture disc. It is a 12-inch picture disc, as I said, 3,000 in quantity. This is also a Record Store Day exclusive release. It's a 12-inch picture disc. It's based around the Magica album. The A-side leads with rare track Annika from the Magica Sessions. It also includes live and studio versions of Lord of the Last Day. And the B-side is the Magica spoken word story. If you know that. If you've heard Magica, you pretty much know that. So yeah, I'm maybe going to get this, maybe not going to get this. It's tough. I mean, do I need one more Dio picture disc? Maybe I do. I don't know. We'll find out, right? Next up is Fight with their second album, A Small Deadly Space. This is the first ever vinyl release of this. You might remember last Record Store Day, their first album came out first time on vinyl. And I picked that up. Might pick this one up too. Again, that's kind of the common thread here with these maybe so, maybe nots. Single LP, RSD exclusive release, 1,750 copies. And of course, their second album came out in 1995. It was released in Brazil on vinyl. Impossible to find, according to the Record Store Day site. So, outside of Brazil, this is technically the first vinyl issue ever. So, I am maybe going to get this. Sound like a broken record, don't I? Anyways. And let's talk about the Ace Frehley reissue here. This is for Trouble Walkin'. This is Ace Frehley's fourth full-length solo album. This is the first vinyl press since 1989 when the album originally came out. This is a 2 LP set, RSD first release. Typically with first releases, not always, but typically, there's usually something that makes it different than the commercial release later on, often colored vinyl. And this one is colored. It is yellow and orange, 180 gram double vinyl, as I said. And a couple things on here. Do Ya is on here on this album. That's the cover song, of course. Ace's version of Hide Your Heart is on this album. You might remember Kiss also did the song. I guess it's originally a Bonnie Tyler song, which I didn't know till maybe a couple years back. But if you want to hear 3 different versions of that, you can go on YouTube and get this record, I guess. But I might get this. I've been buying a lot of the Ace Frehley reissues and new album stuff as well. So, yeah, we'll see, right? As mentioned before, they do celebrate Record Store Day in the United Kingdom as well. And I'm going to go through 4 releases that are exclusive to the UK Record Store Day, chiefly because I kind of want them, at least a couple of them pretty badly. But here they are, just for you Yanks, so you can go, oh my God, I want these records. But I can't have them, except I'm going to pay $1 zillion on Discogs for them in a month. Maybe. Anyways, let's begin with Annihilator. Triple Threat Unplug. This is a 12-inch picture disc. The tracks are Sounds Good to Me, Stonewall, Phoenix Rising, and perhaps other tracks. Those are the 3 that happen to be mentioning. Let's see. This is acoustic material, as the name implies. It was only available in 2017's Triple Threat CD format. So this is the first time on vinyl kind of a thing. Looks great. I love the Jeff Waters Band, as I'm fond of calling them. 14 studio albums I think they have out now. It's incredible. But anyways, Annihilator, Triple Threat Unplugged. Next up is a Black Sabbath 7-inch set. It's 2 7-inches on picture disc. The first disc has Evil Woman and Wicked World, and the second has Paranoid and The Wizard. I guess there was a thing where Black Sabbath stopped doing singles after the early period. A bit of their history there for you. But these look pretty decent, especially if you're a Black Sabbath with Ozzy fan. I'm not a big picture disc fan. Over the last year, I've been kind of disenchanted by them, particularly their sound quality. Maybe that might explain why I may or may not get the Dio one. But yeah, the artwork is really cool. And yeah, I might get it. Exclusive, limited Record Store Day release for this one. So, but in the UK. So there you go. Also, like the Goblin release, this next one isn't a metal album either, but it is a soundtrack to Dracula and the Curse of Frankenstein. Those are 2 Hammer horror films. And this set is a 2 LP set. 1 record is green, 1 record is red. And put out by Silva Screen, not Silver Screen. These are classic Hammer film scores from the 1950s. I believe so. I think Dracula is 1959, 58, I can't remember. And Curse of Frankenstein, I can't remember the year. Maybe a little before that, 57. I love the Hammer films. I think they're classic Gothic horror. I think a lot of us horror fans were growing up, especially in the 70s, and maybe even before that, if you're older, really gained a love for these films. I mean, Christopher Lee is Dracula to me. I mean, hands down. So I love the scores. They're usually pretty big, pretty bombastic. James Bernard is the composer. City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra is playing. So I will probably pick this one up on Discogs for $1 zillion because I'm not British or Irish or Welsh or Scottish. So there you go. And lastly, Paradise Lost, live at Rockpalast. Paradise Lost, Doom death band, more sort of gothic Doom kind of sound to them. This is a 2 LP white vinyl set released by Music on Vinyl. And it's a live show recorded at the Bazaar Festival in Germany on August 19th, 1995. So it's classic era Paradise Lost. Never released on vinyl before, and it looks really, really great. It has an insert, And there are 500 copies in the UK and 1,500 globally. So globally, except for the United States, I guess, is how they're going to put that. So yeah, Paradise Lost, live at Rock Palast. I freaking want this record. This one and the Dracula soundtrack, definitely. And yeah, I'm going to say it. If you live in the UK and you go to Record Store Day and you see that Dracula Frankenstein soundtrack or that Paradise Lost live album, think of me, huh? Maybe put them away. Let me buy them off you. I'll put my email address below and in the description, or at least below. But yeah, I want those. Yeah. Of course, for more info on Record Store Day, you should go to the very intuitively named recordstoreday.com website. For sure. Lots of good info there. And of course, sometime after April 18th, 2020, which is of course the upcoming Record Store Day date, I will be doing a follow-up video, either a vinyl haul or an RSD special, showing you all the records I bought. So that should be a pretty good time. Definitely wish me luck. Fingers crossed that I get some good ones. Other than that, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.